Welcome back, everyone, to VCT Game Changers NA Series 2 presented by Verizon. One series on the date done, and one team is packing their bags to go home, even though a lot of people are home already. But hey, there's still one more step for VALORANT to take after that victory. Is now, Sully, they have to look ahead to their matchup going up against Complexity. Winner moves on, the losers, done.
And the way that this panned out for VALORANT is it was destined. They were gonna have to make a lower bracket run. They drew Shopify Rebellion in their first closed qualifier matchup. It was from the get-go, they were gonna have to make the lower bracket run, and they've done it so far, but they need one more win, as you're saying, Sierra. Complexity dropping from the upper bracket is not the biggest surprise given the competition that is up there, but the way that VALORANT played just against FlyQuest, right? It's not out of the question that an upset could happen here.
Joy of Game Changers is you absolutely never know what is going to be happening. So VALORANT, they definitely had their work cut out for them going up against FlyQuest Red and then defeated them in a pretty strong fashion. So Gompers, they have to do it one more time. And we got to see a bunch of different players step up during that best of two in the two maps we did see. So let's start by talking about Starbound.
Yeah, honestly, listen, for me, Starbound was, again, kind of within the name, a star player. Again, you're looking at the stats. Previously, even playing on the Chamber originally when we saw that split play, I felt like I was getting a lot out of Starbound, whether it be, again, those first initial picks that we were kind of expecting out of this team, or, again, then moving on towards Lotus, where we didn't necessarily see as many of those first engagements, but we also did get to see a lot of sneaky, very, very critical plays come out from Starbound.
Starbound's performance off of the Chamber, I questioned. I was like, okay, well, Starbound was really, really good at finding first kills, first bloods on that split map and getting out, with the rendezvous. Now we go to Lotus. How does the anchor look? How does the anchor capabilities look? And the way Starbound played the KJ, there was just so much confidence from the rest of the team that Starbound was going to be able to lock down the C side or be really good in those solo lurks over towards B main. And it gave a lot of confidence to the rest of the team to make those kinds of aggressive plays that really caught, I think, FlyQuest right off guard in the series we just watched.
And there's a couple of different players that really stepped up. I feel like we could sing a lot of praises about VALORANT right about now, and the plays that Avery was having, some of the pop-offs that Gil was having. But on the flip side, Complexity isn't short of those players either. Those players that can really pop off, those players that can make that potential. And to start things off, well, let's talk about Jazzykins, because when we're talking about players that can pop off, I mean, she is the epitome of that.
You want to talk about stars on Complexity. Jazzykins has always been a star in the Game Changer scene. Undoubtedly, I think, touted as one of the best duelists, if not the best duelist in Game Changers during that Cloud9 stint. You just remember the crazy plays that she was putting out. The thing is, here in the recent closed qualifier, the reason why they dropped to the lower bracket, I felt, is because we haven't had the star Jazzykins that we're used to seeing exactly. They dropped down to the lower bracket. She went, I think, -15 in their upper bracket matchup, and that's what brought them here. When you're going up against another team like VALORANT that has those star players, you need a star of your own here. So Complexity, they have been a very well-rounded team, but I think in this matchup, with how scrappy it's probably going to end up being between Starbound and Gil and even Avery at times, you need someone to really pull through in those really clutch scenarios, and that person should be Jazzykins today.
I feel like when Jazzykin pops off, I mean, it just makes the rest of Complexity's job easy. But I also feel like, Gompers, that Complexity isn't necessarily short of individuals that, if Jazzykins isn't the one popping off, well, they could be stepping up and kind of taking that place. I feel like no matter what, one person's down, the team isn't out. There is a lot of skill on this roster.
Yeah, again, kind of following back with what Sully said, everybody feels like there is that potential to pop off. And, when you're looking at VALORANT, it kind of feels the same way, but there's also, obviously those star players that you could kind of pick out of the group, like Gil, for example, obviously Starbound within those last games, but they also have their moments. They have their maps that they feel that comfort in, but it doesn't feel like there is any discomfort in any map for this team. It's that synergy that holds them together.
Well, if we're going to talk about maps, why don't we find out where exactly we're going to be headed for this series with elimination on the line between these two teams. It's going to be VALORANT to start things off, and Zelly, we're going to be sending it to Haven.
I think Haven is a pretty good first map specifically for VALORANT. They played it already a handful of times in the Game Changer circuit, 4 times dating back to the Open Qualifier, 4 times in literally the last like 10 days. So Haven's a pretty familiar map with them. The only loss that they have currently is against Shopify. Now, our second map of Lotus, picked out by Complexity, I would be surprised if the influence obviously is, you know, because of their 3-0 record, but also because they just got to watch VALORANT play. And I don't think VALORANT played a bad game, but they didn't play exceptional. They were definitely playing against a much weaker FlyQuest Red. So I think Complexity, definitely watching behind the scenes, have got something to do, and have definitely something cooked up on that second map.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see that play out because they got to stay rested. They got to get that little bit of information. But when we're looking at the momentum and VALORANT being a momentum-based team here, Gompers, they got to come off of this series where they were that underdog that we were talking about and take a strong victory. Now they got to come off of Lotus. They get to come off of a series where we thought it would be a 3-mappers if they were to win. So they got, I feel like, nothing to lose and everything to gain going into this. And the map pool's the first 2. I like it for VALORANT.
Honestly, I think it's looking good too, because if anything, they have been the ones here in VALORANT that have been playing this map of Haven so predominantly. Like, you're looking at pretty much the comparison of Complexity here in Game Changers now, and the comfort that they're feeling. You know, they could be comfortable in this map, but it's been, I think, 4 times already that we've been able to see that this team of VALORANT have been able to play, been able to really strategize here within Game Changers so far. So, you know, when there's the history there, it really does feel like, okay, the comfort has to be there as well.
But if we're going to talk about the history, then we have to look back at Complexity and the fact that Complexity as a team and as these individual players, there's a lot here.
And it's a team that isn't going to make the mistakes I think FlyQuest ended up showing in their last matchup. And while VALORANT, I mean, there wasn't anything crazy, like anything unique, like out of this world that they were doing. They were just very good at playing fundamentals and punishing the multiple mistakes that FlyQuest Red were throwing at them. I don't think Complexity are a team that will make those kinds of mistakes. And so VALORANT will need more than just that individual firepower. Yes, at times it's going to bail them out of a lot of bad situations, but you also have to come with your A game in terms of how you're going to put pressure and what parts of the map you're going to take. And also having a really good read on this Complexity team who has a veteran lineup of players that know exactly what to do, and when they're put in those high pressure situations will still perform regardless.
Yeah, for VALORANT, it's definitely an opportunity to prove that the series that they won before, they got so much more to them as we head into our agent select and soon the game. I'm hoping for a good one, guys. I will see you two on the other side.
Honestly, I'm hoping for a good one too. After the last game that we got, it was an exciting one. I honestly did enjoy it, but I felt like, you know, I think Complexity is really going to push VALORANT to that extra step.
And this composition from Complexity is one of the most annoying comps to play against, especially having that Viper. It's the composition that the guard ran during their Ascension run. And if Complexity played anything like the guard, I think VALORANT's going to have a very difficult time with managing that Viper, especially on this attacking side where having that Viper and, you know, as soon as you get on site, and if your Viper's alive, you pretty much win the round with that util. And VALORANT have a much different composition running the single controller double initiator. We'll see how this one goes and how they manage this kind of aggression and this unstoppable, not unstoppable util, but this overpowering util that Viper can provide on this map.
Yeah, especially keeping the composition as well intact. Like you talked about the guard. Listen, maybe they learned from one of the best, so now they are going to become one of the best in this game. That is a possibility. Biggest possibility here as well is really just trying to see the function of Complexity and how that individual playstyle is going to come into this game.
The full retake setup already. VALORANT will have to back away. Starlight actually fighting in the site instead.
Yeah, lots of players already trying to initiate on this Starbound. Finding a fight actually down towards that default side. You can see this is a very scattered push. Already coming alongside down CT. Lacey is just going off. And I mean, that really brings into the perspective how this team is crazy. But it's Avery on the pistol run, already trying to completely transfer this back over.
Down to a 1v1. Avery does have a singular star. Claudia is worried that there's going to be a swing. She does have an opportunity to get a nanoswarm down here for post plant.
Just stuck underneath. Oh, the swing down. That was a risky play to wrap around up in heaven.
I think you would have liked to see Avery drop a star there under towards Hell. Like, there's a lot of angles that Claudia could have taken, And the two main ones being either pushing defender spawn or gone towards under heaven, and you kind of have to make that gamble with the singular star that you have from Avery. But Complexity able to recover despite the contest that we saw here from Valaris and maintaining a lot of backside control. That double peek between Lacey and Kara doing a lot of damage and finding those early picks. Still comes down to the 1v1 regardless, so you can see Valaris are coming in swinging on their map pick of Haven. They know this is a map that they're not that they are favored on, and so they need a strong defensive start.
You're talking about strong defensive start. I'm seeing 3 players already on defense here for Valaris. And again, even though they're on that save, you can see they're really trying to push for something here.
And it hasn't been the first time that we've seen them win eco rounds, and it is because of those kinds of gambles, and so we'll see if they can maybe pull another one off. Complexity just rerouting over towards the A side.
They're on a slow inch forward to Claudia, who's actually ready for this one. A Marshall, if they want to use it in hand, but it seems like the Ghost a bit more favorable here. Flank up, around, down as well towards mid. Yeah, not expected, but they're actually fighting this. Lacey feeling the confidence enough to even push that.
And it's fine that Claudia goes down because she only had that Ghost, so there's no gun that gets picked up there for Valaris. That's why you see her on the solo lurk.
But they're still actually fighting for this pickup here. Lacey is confident to try to fight this mid. They're wrapping back around, not wanting to take that on.
Any extra damage here is going to be a big bonus to this Valaris side, but look at the way Complexity are playing. Grouped up in pairs, no one's going to get caught out isolated. Raze isn't going to be in an overextended position, so Complexity, especially with the buy that they have, you want your bonus with these 3 rifles, the 2 Bulldogs and the Vandal moving forward. You'll have a very strong bonus to battle up against the full buy Valaris next round. They backed up all the way. They can actually full stick this. What is going on?
I think they're... Okay, well, Valaris managed to somehow take it. If anything, even then, Complexity focused way too heavily on the flank. After a couple seconds, probably should have realized what was going on. I don't even know.
No, I don't even that's know. Not real. That's not real. How does that happen? I'm so annoyed that happened again. Because they had Valaris had another ninja defuse against FlyQuest Red, right? Yeah. And I don't know how they do it again. They just drop. Why is no one on the site? I'm annoyed at that. I'm not gonna lie. Valaris, they get away with murder again. Just a free round off of the defuse, and now we're tied up 1-1.
I expect the unexpected, honestly, from Valaris. That's pretty much got to be the same.
Literally, they make rounds that shouldn't happen.
I mean, maybe they're going to make another round happen here, honestly, with Complexity.
They should. They've got the better guns here. They definitely should.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised. Listen, it's okay. Complexity, bro, after that one, mental's drained. They'll come back stronger. I believe.
Yeah, they'll come back.
I believe.
I can tell you, they will not make that mistake again. They will guaranteed keep one player on their side at all times.
It's got to be a brutal way to go down, honestly.
Yeah, and they're going to try and right their wrongs after losing the first pick. Okay, that's a pretty big kill. That opens up a lot of opportunities. It keeps Avery alone on the site right now.
They're fighting pretty heavily on this. They managed to get 2. Maybe a Vandal and a Bulldog here, so that's going to push the economy up just a bit further. Actually tossing it back over to Kara. Potential bigger here.
Or as well does have Seekers.
Yeah. Oh, stun actually being popped out. Nice shot from Lacey. And a complete turnaround here for Complexity. You see that save round that initially came out, now managing to completely convert that into something else. Oh, poor teammates. Already getting blinded. Raze not having a good time right now. Down towards the flank. 2 players slowly creating that pinch in towards whatever's going on here. Claudia still actually trying to watch this. They're not even peeking. The fear is there, but the shots are hitting. It's a beautiful play.
I like the off angle as well that was pulled out from Lacey. Just on top of the box, it's not an angle that you typically expect. You're maybe looking towards back sight or even towards logs instead, but catching the player and spawn off guard. A nice round here from Complexity, isolating that garage fight and putting Avery on an island. That's a very difficult site to hold, and Avery did not react quick enough, couldn't put a star down to support herself. She ends up going down there on the exec, and you know, Complexity, despite letting a ninja defuse happen with 4 rifles alive, you have been able to bounce back. You know, you've done a pretty good job here as you pick up your second round, despite the lesser weaponry.
Sully, this was the redemption arc, okay?
Bro, literally, like, it wrote off everything that happened in the previous round.
They had to at some point, man. After something like that, you got to come back, like, you know, swinging your arms. Man, I think swinging your arms is pretty much going to happen down towards mid, though.
That was such a clean transition, Gob. Well done there. Talking about
Thank
swinging
you so
arms,
much.
swinging out mid. You could have gone that way.
I know, I'm
That's pressure. A lot of pressure out towards mid here as Claudia gets caught off guard. Hopefully Complexity don't get ecoed again. I'm just hoping for it.
I doubt they would, honestly, with Valeris here. Not too good in a position. The retake's looking a bit risky. So many players actually just completely flooded down towards Garage.
Gil will certainly need an opening to kick this one off. They only have one rifle here. Now they actually have a second off the pick of Claudia.
Yeah, so much util to use here as well. You see the star actually being used down towards Lacey. The shock darts are making so much damage, so much work around here. And honestly, it seems easier if Jazzykins wasn't a problem. And I mean, listen, we gave Jazzykins that MVP for a reason. It seems like it's going to come out perfectly down towards Garage. I mean, the teamwork is immaculate.
Yeah, 3 kills for Jazzy. That's the star that you wanted for Complexity. Someone to pull you out when things get a little bit tricky. Trades it immediately onto Gil as Gil begins to come out from Garage. Jazzykins is right there. And dashing away as well, pulling attention towards Long, giving Raze an opportunity to make that flank in Garage happen as well. Complexity, they still do lose 3 players. And they're actually going to pull the attacking Haven operator out, which it's not on Jazzykins, which does at least keep the entry potential open, but still, having an op out here early might limit their offensive capabilities and force Lacey to play in these weird off angles again.
Yeah, and you're looking at the economy completely being diminished time and time again here for Valaris. So, you know, mental's probably drained at this point. You want something big to come through from this round, but if you can't, especially right there with that first-hand pick, you're not going to feel too good about that one.
Yeah, Gil just getting caught out. No util there to allow the cross to happen, and Lacey quick to punish. Now they know the ops on the map.
You know, we got something different coming out from here. Honestly, this has to be a troll. Right there comes the first one swinging. Nobody checks the angle. Honestly, I was expecting more out of that coming through from somebody else, but Avery managing to get taken down as well. Listen, Complexity, they're just on a roll.
And once again, Avery just left alone after losing a player that was in such a crucial position. Forced to hold down the A site, not quick enough to be able to get off it. And Astralis will look for 1 kill. That would get the ult online. But not going to have it in the next as they get reset here. Valaris, not enough credits to make a buy happen. And Complexity starts to build up ults of their own, lockdown Seekers to work with. The Viper's pit not too far off, and you can see once you get that Viper on site, it is extremely hard to make a retake happen. And Valaris are feeling that pressure already.
And I was expecting this performance out of Complexity, but you know, to the caliber of how these players are playing, right there, Jazzykins, we've already seen so much come through from this player in particular, starting off. Even on down towards the executions, now we're going to be able to see it again. Honestly, off this Sova Starlight might go down in an instant.
Force it back away. A little bit of aggression from Valaris. It's Claudia to check. Watch for the flank, the alarm bot as well. So she is just controlling this mid area, ensuring that no flank's going to happen. There's no fast push, and the rest of Complexity can focus on the A hit. But it looks like we're going to have a 5-on-5. Starlight is immediately backed away here from the A site.
Yeah, you can actually see rotation being completely baited out. Lots of players a bit slow, so timing gonna have to be something you're gonna have to think of here. Claudia already watching the flank, very aware of the situation here.
Alone, though, could give up a gun. And if Starbound is able to get it, you know what Starbound can do with it.
Oh, and I actually love that synergy there. You
Winning
saw
the
the stun
fight.
come out, yeah, for a complete transfer. Claudia knows this. It's the read on this play that's immaculate here that really just leads into that first-hand pick. Claudia clearing things up, and now everybody else. You lose 2 players, you're gonna lose the 3rd. Gale trying their best to move in on the site, but Jazzy down, stuck behind. There's nothing to play with here other than the fact that it's up to Gil to really make that transfer, and Jazzy's just completely insane.
Complexity on 5 now, showing again this is not a team that's going to make those kinds of mistakes, playing a strong post plan, 1 under Heaven, 2 out towards Long. Claudia investing in that fight was a risk, but it paid off extremely well in that instance. Jazzykins continuing to show that she's the star that this Complexity team was lacking in that upper bracket game that dropped them to this lower bracket matchup. And look at the wall that's being thrown here by Valaris. It is such an annoying wall to deal with if you're an Opera because it isolates the angle that you can peek from. And if you are a player, even with a Vandal on Complexity, you can pre-aim that angle. You can see where these pings are. Granted, they are from Valaris. You can get aggressive here. Already, look at what Braze is doing.
Honestly, at this point, looking like Gil is getting desperate. You bring up the operator. Yeah, you really want to get that first pick. Ray's already seeking out the elimination, still watching it. And I'm liking the patience here. Actually cut it, tagging them off. Surprisingly,
But that shot gives Braze the opportunity to cross. I think he would have wanted to hold that instead.
Listen, a lot going on in such a short amount of time. Already Chazzy wrapping back around down towards Garage. Nobody knows what's going on. There's no information.
Avery had just too many angles to look at. Long Garage. He's overwhelmed from the Garage play. That's the third time she's been left on an island on the site. Off the yacht pick from Lacey. Which, I wonder where that op went. She's elected to drop it. That's a pretty big investment. I would keep it.
Raze is just kind of seeking out for some elims right now. Honestly, looking to boost up the KD.
It's going to get the Viper Spit here in a second as well if she finds Australia.
Australia! I would love to find Australia as well. No, Australia's getting taken down.
I did say Australia, didn't I? My bad.
A nice vacation, but yeah, I don't. Honestly, executing off of Gale is scary. We still don't really have a. Okay, it still manages to work itself out.
That's the dominance of complexity. That wall is just so annoying to deal with if you're an operator. And you'll see they're probably going to continue to throw it whenever there's an opportunity for an operator to be at play here. And Gil, I think you would have liked to hold the angle instead. Maybe you get the kill. But it's a gamble you have to take here. And right now, Complexity are doing a really good job of finding these opening picks. Like, they got one on C, they got one on A. And Valaris will have to take a timeout. I think you want to coordinate some aggression here. Bring the fight and try and find an early pick with your kind of own push against this Complexity team. And I think the goal might be setting Gil up on A. Like, get that early Sobadar, get control, push up a little bit. Gil can dash away, and you have Astralis to make the fault line to allow Gil to back away. There's a lot of opportunities to get aggressive on A, I think.
I feel like it's hard, though. You know, with the way Valaris is playing, like, they start to become more and more fearful as the rounds go on. So you're kind of looking at a team that's completely just diminished overall. You're going 6-1. It's not feeling too great right now. You got a lucky shot by getting that diffuser earlier. Like,
yeah, I'm not going to lie. It should be 7-0 if you think about it.
That was crazy to me, the fact that that happened.
They will have 4 ultimates to try and convert something. I don't think this eco round is the one where we're going to be looking at those ultimates get used. But both teams stacking up 7 ults on the server so far. And Valaris with max loss bonus can pick up the operator in the next round if they do so choose to. But for now, they're not doing the full aggression towards A. I think they're just getting Gil onto the angle. But again, that Viper's wall prohibiting so much vision. When this wall goes up, you need the peak to be in towards short instead.
Yeah, no peak at all, though. Honestly, yeah, Complexity looking more towards that default push.
Yeah, expecting aggression here from Valaris.
Yeah, no aggression yet to be found. I don't think there's going to be anything here. Valaris, again, I like that fearfulness we talked about before. It's just kind of engulfing them.
I'm just so curious as the stun setup. Who's going to punish you, and it actually goes towards B instead. Slowing the push down from Complexity, maybe giving time for Valaris to make a stack happen with their lesser guns.
I think at this point, Complexity kind of just playing around with Valaris, seeing what adaptations they're trying to make here. And as that patience actually starts to crumble through, yeah.
There is a possible Hunt to Siri play had they gone towards A, or if they had gone in towards Garage here. But Complexity completely avoiding the range of now the Hunt to Siri if it were to get popped. The C site completely open. This is a retake here again from Valaris, but with no guns really. They have 4 ultimates, but Spike is going to go down here for sure.
Yeah, even then, you know, you're looking at Starbound. Yuto completely denied just by that smoke alone. So no information. Starbound listening in, giving away some of that information, waiting for the stunt to come through. This is big. Australia still manages to have the ult.
Gil just wants to dash on in just off of the fault line. It looks like, see if maybe they can get something explosive in the backside.
Even out with an op, actually making some space here. Lacey scaring these players away from that Garage side. And now Ray's left alone to fight down towards Box. So much damage just based alone off that information. But it doesn't even work. You've got so many players still managing to make the shots, the 3K to come down. And Ray's not making it any easier for Valaris to try to take this back.
They know where Avery is. Avery's not getting away. Race wants the 4K, doesn't get it. Unfortunate. It's 7-1 for Complexity. A dominating start here from the team that comes from the upper bracket. And like we said, we don't expect Complexity to make the mistakes that FlyQuest Red were giving Valaris. And you can see how annoying it is to play against this Viper. So much Yuto gets layered. You got Snake Bites, the Poison Orb one way over towards Spawn. And as soon as that goes away, you probably have Lacey's second smoke coming up as well. Complexity dominating this first half right now. Granted, Valaris, we know to be an attacking sided team, still needs some kind of cushion. They don't have the op here. as they haven't elected to invest in that one. But this is a round that I feel is a must-win if they want to keep themselves in this map.
I mean, I would be dominating as well. If I was kind of going off of the momentum complexity is right now, it really does start to feel seamless at some point.
This is an opportunity for Avery to back up. Smoke in the back, a turret to maybe slow a push if they were to go towards logs. But they've walked all the way up here. And in a second, they'll make the exit happen off with just a flash.
Oh, actually, if Jazzy won that fight, that would have been a full execution onto site. Losing that kind of just completely reworks the strat here.
Hard to back away. And I wonder if Claudia knows there's a player in garage. Well, the Nanostorm doesn't clear that angle. So for now, Starbound has control. And they should know and expect that this is going to go the other way. But there's no peek from Avery, so they can't full commit to an A rotate.
Listening into Trailblazers big here too. Is now Jet kind of helping out alongside Starlight, creating somewhat of a diversion. Claudia still watching around down towards mid. Australis caught in the crossfire here though. Starlight still blinded with everything that complexity can put to mind, not even clearing the left-hand side.
30 seconds left.
I'm not even sure of what is going on right now. Still being able to be blinded. Gil not cleared still again, despite knowing they were still down towards short. Now it's up to Lacey, still down towards the one. But a 3K, a 1v1. Claudia still managing to make that rotation. Gil has no idea. No, they do.
And doing it on their own. Gil finding four of all ways to close out that round. And Valaris, once again, pulled off by a miracle play. They had the Ninja Defuse. Here they've got a beautiful 4K. And Gil should have gone down here. Raze was looking to pop the ultimate, but doesn't commit to the fight. They had the spike planted for long so they could pop the ult and make an almost impossible retake. But there's no trade, no commitment because Raze is trying to pull up the ult. And Complexity giving a second round to Valaris. Not getting the trade into Gil costs them dearly.
Costing them more than just a round, honestly, here. Oh, it's costing them the op as well. Gil went crazy. In just this second, that first pick is going to clear things up nice.
Starlight might have an opportunity for one here. They're in a pretty tricky spot, though. They could get easily cut off.
Yeah, looking like the cutoff's actually happening here. Starlight backed off, and this is where the dash comes in. This is a beautiful play from Jazzy. Full cohesion coming through with the initiator alone. Down towards the backside, Gil popping off his team. Annihilating Complexity.
And electing to fight on the site instead of playing the retake. You had three big retake ultimates, actually. The Hunter Fury, the Rolling Thunder, and the Lockdown. So for Valaris to stick into the site might have been a surprise for Complexity given the ults that were in their hands, right? Valaris should have been playing retake. You should not have had Starbound in a typical situation to be playing on site, but that seems to have been what caught Complexity off guard. Jazzykins caught after getting the first, alone in backside, and Valaris make the trades happen as Astralis walks in with a flash as well. And we're within 2 here. Valaris still with those 4 ultimates to work with as well. Complexity still have to be very watchful and wary of it. And that lockdown that they have could easily get countered by the Hunter's Fury.
Yeah, with Gil too, you know, picking up the op, I do feel like, again, it feels like a completely different person.
An attack here might honestly warrant that Hunter's Fury, but it doesn't find anything. This is a big retake setup here for Complexity to go against, as Valaris have got, again, that Rolling Thunder and the Hunter's Fury on the B site. This is not the site you want to hit when you got those ultimates online.
Oh, but not looking for anything. If anything, Complexity, they are feeling as if that C site is looking good for the taking. Still, the
Starlight, Starlight has just begun to move in position for the Hunter's Fury. I don't think she'll elect to use it here, and will instead use it for the retake.
Yeah, Lockdown's gonna be big. If anything, yeah, now Lacey going down for that TP. Oh, backside.
And they picked it already. Look, the gravel here as well already for the Hunter's Fury play, or a stun instead.
Still Hunter's Fury, now finally managing to make its way. Car goes down. They've missed out on the one, the ultimate, making some big numbers happen here, but the Viper's still alive.
It's still a Rolling Thunder to work with, but look at Claudia in the flank.
Actually, this is huge. The first one, Lacey making it work. Claudia now along the back, finding the ultimate. Maybe not. Actually, Gil with the off, I mean, taking some quick scopes in, but the Viper's Pit's still alive. I mean, this is the most difficult problem. Gil cannot spray with that off and somehow get that lucky shot. The chances are slim to none. Now Lacey stuck behind box, slowly making their way in down towards that smoke, and Jazzykins in a very, very weird position right now. Still stuck waiting.
remaining.
The Fusel not coming down. It's impossible to win this round at this point, but the Viper's been down. Potential big. And Jazzy manages to completely shut this down.
Coming out again with a triple. Jazzykins, how many is
Last
that?
round before the
But
switch.
huge props to Claudia on that flank. Buying time despite the Rolling Thunder going in. You can see how quick this team wanted to get into the fight here. Even with the 4v5 advantage, the 5 versus 4. And everything going for them, but Claudia's flank drawing attention, not allowing this VALORANT team to get instantly back into the site when they wanted to. Buying just a couple of extra seconds to get players off the stun. And VALORANT not able to make the retake happen, investing a lot of ults into that one as well.
I think Gil's just been stepping it up like crazy. You know, we talk about star players, whatnot. VALORANT definitely making the star player right now in the works, though mid, so many players still surrounding us.
And Lurk here looks like as well from Raze. You gotta hope the KJ doesn't go down here. Starbound needs to stay alive, otherwise that flank is really gonna work.
Speaking of the flank, honestly, not seeming like there is much.
It does look like, though, that Raze has gone for this early sewer control so that they could make a lockdown happen over towards B or towards A. And it's a very strong position that VALORANT have to respect, and that's where they're playing very off-site of A right now.
They're still waiting. This push being the only thing keeping this together
Bro,
right
Avery's
now.
so good with the judge.
Oh, this is so dangerous. They didn't even fully clear that. The third one not even there, but it's okay. Again, potential here. 3v4 situation. Clutch, maybe. Down towards Claudia. How is this working out? Lacey's still trying to push past this. And yet everyone left alive here on Complexity.
And what is this recovery? Stunned as well. Claudia takes a swing
Placing swarm grenade.
and nails the player in backside.
Initiated.
They're actually trying to retake with the ultimate here. Starbound's got an operator instead to try and make it happen.
But you don't want to see this, do you? They completely walk outside onto site. How are they not expecting somebody to be watching that down on this post plant now? Starlight stuck in a bad position. They can't back up now. They have to fight this, especially with that in their way, and Raze making a power play.
The instant trade back to close it out. 9-3
Switching sides.
Complexity in full control of Haven at this point in time. But we did see a little bit of life from VALORANT in this last round. This one felt entirely possible here. I think he wanted the fight in the backside as well, though, from Gil. Offered that support. Losing to Claudia on that backside was probably the deal breaker in that one. And VALORANT, down 6 rounds, have got to make a recovery. Their better side is the attack. And here's where you want to see them step up. Get Gil and Starbound back onto the fragging level that we know they can be at. And we might have a game on our hands here. But with I mean, I don't even need to say it. You need to win this pistol round if you want to even have a chance.
I feel like there's potential. Again, like you're looking, yeah, the 9-3 isn't looking too handsome right now. But when you're thinking about, you know, just the overall momentum that VALORANT has gained, I feel like there is hope here. There is hope in their minds that something could come along. And that's all you really need to think about right now. Of course, Stun kind of back in this playoff, so Jazzykins can't actually execute.
Yeah, the smoke they dropped earlier keeps Jazzykins alive, thankfully. There was a straw, so would have been able to swing in the window and get the kill.
I don't like this at all. Cars.
And they should know. They should know this is a garage mid-focus hit. The spot over towards C-Long, the spot over towards A confirms that.
I think they do. Jazzy. And some nice shots already with the Sheriff and Cars fighting down Garage. So many players already on the execution, splitting this up to try to create that distraction. But Lacey getting shot through the smoke, somehow managing to make that damage work with the pistol.
Down A.
Slowly working its way back over to Complexity. Yeah, listen, you said if VALORANT lose this one, it might just be kind of that game over. And I feel like, yeah, we've reached the end.
The 10th round for Complexity on the map pick of VALORANT is a devastating scoreline. You're not even at 5 rounds yet. Complexity only 3 away from closing out map number 1. This was a nice play here. Everyone's fully focused, you can see. Immediately onto Jazzykins, the back site there, and Lacey very good at punishing in those kind of instances. Again, this is a Complexity team that we kind of put up there as like, they're a team that has 5 players that can pop off individually, and we've seen it. Lacey's had her moment, Jazzykins as well, Claudia especially has had her moments from time to time in this map. And VALORANT, those mistakes that they saw from FlyQuest Red, they punished them, but they're not seeing any mistakes here from Complexity. They're playing such a strong default right now. And they have been, even from that first half.
Yeah, you talk about lacking those mistakes. Honestly, biggest thing for VALORANT is kind of being in that position as well. Right now, one pick can really completely change that momentum here. Oh no. It's not looking good. The crosshold already being held off Kara. Flash is still left available. 11 seconds left to that. It completely reloads as well.
Just look at the wall setup as well. This is a wall that is specifically for the anti-eco because you know your opponents are playing with no armor. You walk in that wall, it covers 3 different entry points. You're losing an instant 30 HP.
Honestly though, listen, Raise with the Judge, good for 5 here. Like, it's such a perfect position. I feel like under the circumstance, oh no, Short doesn't push first. Instead, actually getting the one, surprisingly enough, managing to make it close. Kara though, alongside Jazzykins. Again, the teamwork is there. So the bonus round, I mean, the anti-eco round, definitely going over towards Complexity.
Very simple stuff here from Complexity.
30 seconds left.
Losing only 1 player that had a Judge, you'll have the reinvestment. Jazzykins can certainly buy if she does want to. But the bonus looks pretty decent here from Complexity. Normally you would want those extra Vandals and those rifles, but given this map and the way that Complexity will probably play the next round, they're going to play a lot of cheap game with these SMGs and see if they can close the distance and put Valeris in uncomfortable spots. In this next round, a muscle round for Valeris. You lose this one.
Remember, they're only human.
It's Complexity on 12. You with no credits. So this, again, lesser guns. We're going to see Complexity probably close the distance quite a bit here on the extremities.
At this point, you're also kind of lacking just... I feel like hope really starts to get lost once you reach close to that match point. I mean, 11-3 is very, very far distance. Like, Valaris need a miracle.
An op out here for Jazzykins is going to be taken over towards A long. And there's an opportunity, or apologies, A short. Or a handful of kills.
She's still up, looking good. Oh, Jazzy, the first shot missed. That's not good.
I thought that hit. Valaris have got to be scared. They'll have to use flashes to take back this site here. They're just going to put Gil in a position where they can make alert kill happen. If they get the timing right, you might be able to catch that operator off. But the flash does give them the info that there are still some players towards A.
Oh, but they're being so communicative right now. I mean, the drone already pushed.
And they know. They're just full clearing it as well. You don't stand a chance here.
There's so much information.
No dash or kill either.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's the pick Jazzy needed. Even continuing on, you see the B site. There's still some hold here from Claudia, but I'm not thinking this is going to work out too well. First one, possibly. Second one goes transferred over, but it does not come in time. It's still up to 4 players here. Down on Complexity with Valaris. I mean, at this point, listen, the only way you're going to be able to get this is isolate these fights. Take out Jazzy! A close collateral, but not getting it. Still left with the shorty. Other playing this close angle. Regardless, Lacey comes around the back. Listen, Complexity are just killing it right now.
Yeah, early pick there from Jazzykins. You catch Gil off guard. I think you would have wanted... I mean, there was a fault line from Astralis that could have been sent over towards Long surely to get Gil out of that tricky position. Like, you can see in the position he is. I think the fault line would have maybe not just reached. I don't know. But from 12 rounds here, Complexity with a 9-round lead. Valaris using their final timeout of the series will need a big, big turnaround here if they want any hope of winning out this map. And it is their map pick. We go to Lotus next, a map that we've already seen Valaris play. But so have Complexity. I just watched them play here on the mainstream. And so they'll probably have some kind of counterplay to whatever Valaris were doing on Lotus. And we'll have to see if Valaris bring anything different.
Yeah.
Then yeah, you never know. 9-round comeback. It's doable.
Yeah, you're speaking about hope. It's kind of hard to, you know, keep that hope here for Valaris. Let's not forget, this is Valaris' map pick. Like, you're picking a map that you were pretty comfortable on to go into Haven, and now you're getting a possible 13-3. Like, if you're going over to Complexity's kind of hometown, that is going to feel not too great.
And you look at the buy that Valaris are left with as well. Spectre, a Stinger, a Sheriff, a very mixed bag. And that star player that we highlighted, Starbound, 4-14, especially the way that they played in the last series.
Eyes up.
300 plus ACS.
Yeah.
And it has been a shadow of what they had performed previously.
Blinded.
Oh, the blind actually coming through. Yeah, there's a pretty big push coming along. You can hear the footsteps happening, but what was that peak? Claudia feeling a bit too confident. Now Starbound actually profiting. But still so many players left behind. No flash actually to reach that, so Kara sits onto the site. Most of the players still making its way around. And Kara still manages to get it. Majority of the players down in a second in Complexity. Listen, we talked about the possibility of winning, and I feel like, yeah, we're going to close it out in milliseconds here with Car taking the ace to go, wrapping it up in a box.
Me again
13-3 from Complexity. That's not only confidence, that's just dominance on this map of Haven. There was no way Valaris, or I think we're going to get back into this one, just given that first half scoreline. This isn't a team that makes mistakes, and Valaris learned that here today in that first map of Haven. They start 0-1 in the series, Gompers.
Listen, and an 0-1 feels better than anything, but not to Valaris. After coming off a win, like, that's got to hurt really, really bad, especially on your map pick.
Yeah, and there's so much work to be done here. Starting 0-1, Valaris, the grind has to start now. It started in that first lower bracket game when they were dropped by Shopify Rebellion. Here, they've got to make a reverse sweep happen. We'll be right back after the break.
When it comes to like what I'm afraid of in game, it'd probably just be an opponent that I might see as better than me, but I won't let that back me down, and I will always, do my best and compete as well as I can against them. Out of game though, probably heights, just because, you get a little like the stomach kind of churns,
Out of game, I would say it's like big bugs, like centipedes are terrifying for some reason. In game, I would say it's always just that moment when a jet peeks out of the smoke with an op and then dashes away. It's always terrifying. You just see her for a split second and you die.
Most afraid of out of game, probably like spiders. I have like arachnophobia, I'm terrified of spiders. And then in game, not playing to the best of my ability.
Fade terrifies me. Being deaf and not being able to see, and if I'm surrounded by smokes and just the onslaught of Utah that comes at you afterwards. So it's usually followed up by like a KO flash or something, and it's just overwhelming trying to be able to calm without knowing anything that's going on. Out of game, heights are pretty terrifying.
In game, the only thing that really scares me is like players like Fluorescent, where it doesn't matter what you call, it doesn't matter what you do, you're just gonna get shot in the head. And so I've played one best of 3 against version 1. I was pugging in Astro Clash, and I have never been so thoroughly diffed in the mechanics department. So that is in game what scares me. Out of game, I cannot do any kind of insect. Bugs, no, I'm just out of there instantly. Get it away from me.